Hello my dear children, Namaste, good morning and welcome to another session of our one-shot ICSE Biology Class 10 series. This is Ambika, Master Teacher of Biology at Vedantu. Now you know that we are done with 4 major chapters, one-shot series, like the entire chapter in a single capsule, one session for each chapter, right? So today we shall be discussing another very important chapter, which is photosynthesis. Because this is a one-shot series, as you know, we can't afford to go into the minute details of every concept in the chapter. So just in case you want to know more about those concepts, please do check out the ICSE Class 10 Complete Biology playlist, where you will find most important topics of all your chapters. Okay, all your entire syllabus of biology has been covered in our regular session, so please do go back and watch it. Okay, so let's get started. As always, I love starting with positive quotes. Yes, this is what I wanted to tell you today. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. That's an amazing saying, because I thought of telling you this right now because you are aiming at your board exam. You are thinking about what you can do to come closer, to reach closer to success. No matter what, children, always the success that comes out of hard work and complete dedication is the only thing that will remain glorious. Anything else, any kind of seeming success that is achieved through any form of shortcut is always very short-lived and can have a lot of negative impact also. Okay, so always remember this. No substitute for hard work. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. So going ahead, as you must be aware, children, we completely understand the importance of revisions when it comes to your 10th standards board exams, which is exactly why we are proudly launching the Revise India campaign, a complete revision camp exclusively meant for you and exclusively brought to you by the best teachers of India, the best teachers who are completely dedicated totally for those 3 days, February 20th, 21st and 22nd. All of these teachers, you must be knowing them. You must have attended their classes. So children, this is going to be completely free. It will cover your entire class 10 syllabus for all the subjects. So children, do remember to register now. Do not miss out on this wonderful opportunity, because we completely believe in giving you complete confidence in appearing for your board exams. Okay, so let us go ahead with the content of the chapter. The chapter is about photosynthesis, right? So what exactly is photosynthesis? It's a series of chemical reactions which uses the energy of sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugar molecules. And in the meantime, it produces oxygen or releases oxygen as a byproduct. Okay, so this is what it is. And this simple animation is showing you what exactly happens in photosynthesis, an overview of what happens in photosynthesis. Okay, we are all aware of this now. And the equation for photosynthesis is very important, children, because this is normally asked almost every year. This is asked whether in the 1 mark section or in the 5 mark section as a 1 mark sub question. This is very commonly asked. Okay, so make sure you are able to write this equation in a balanced form with chlorophyll and sunlight also included in the equation. Now this is just a fancy way of representing photosynthesis, but then make sure you also write, so like you don't have to draw a sun, you can just write sunlight on top of the arrow, and below you could write chlorophyll. That's it. Okay, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. That's all that we are trying to imply. And now moving ahead. Yes, this is another very important thing to know, children. The structure of a chloroplast. Why is the chloroplast important? Because that is the site of photosynthesis. That is the site of, in fact, we call it the kitchen of a plant, right? Because photosynthesis, the entire process occurs in the chloroplast. So as you can see, it's a double membraned cell organelle. It has an outer membrane, it's got an inner membrane, and within it, it's got a stroma, and then stacks of coin-like structures which we call thylakoids, and one entire stack is called granum. So you must know that difference also. It could come as a 1-mark question, either as multiple choice or either as give the biological or technical term for this or something like that. You must know the difference between granum and thylakoid, children. Remember, one single coin is what we call thylakoid, and a stack of thylakoids or a stack of coins is what we call granum. Okay, yes, and lamellae are the structures which connect adjacent grana. Okay, and moving ahead, as you know, the process of photosynthesis is much more complex than it seems to be. So we divide them into two: light reaction or light dependent reactions and dark reactions. Okay, so this is basically the overview of the reactions in photosynthesis. But always remember that light reactions and dark reaction do not mean that dark reaction occurs at night. It just means that it is not dependent on light. Okay, the icon there is just there as a representation of the name dark. Okay, but then it just means that it is a light independent reaction. Okay, but then here light is very, very crucial, which is why it's called light reaction. So basically light is needed to produce organic energy molecules, ATP and NADPH. Okay, that's what the gist of light reaction is. And in dark reaction, no light is needed. Instead, it uses ATP and NADPH to produce energy molecules. Okay, now let us look at one more image which represents a little more, which tells you a little more detail about light and dark reactions. But of course, children, do remember it is a lot in detail, especially the light reaction. There is photolysis happening, and then what happens to the ATP, NADPH and all of that. So to understand more of that, if your concept is not clear yet, this is the time to get it cleared. Go back to the biology playlist on our channel, the ICSE biology playlist. Go to the chapter photosynthesis and you will find detailed explanations from me when I did this chapter about 3 months ago. Okay, so do check that out. Now to give you a gist of it, light reactions occur in the thylakoids, okay, which is why we have represented it this way. So what happens is light energy falls on the thylakoid, they get excited, and finally there are 3 things which get released: oxygen, which get released into the atmosphere. Okay, yes, so oxygen is one which gets released into the atmosphere as a byproduct, and there is ATP and NADPH also. ATP, NADPH, 3 things which are released in light reaction. So this goes into the atmosphere. These 2 get used up in the Calvin cycle or the dark reaction. Okay, so light reaction and dark reaction. Dark reaction is also called Calvin cycle. Okay. And now ultimately what happens in the Calvin cycle, it uses up all this and it converts carbon dioxide into glucose, which is going to be the major end product of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is called, light reaction is also called photochemical reaction, and this is also called biosynthetic reaction or biosynthetic phase. Okay, so that has got something to do with what is happening in each of them respectively. Okay, so do keep that in mind. If somebody asks you what is Calvin cycle or where does Calvin cycle occur, what would you say? Calvin cycle occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, and the light reaction or the photochemical reaction, photochemical phase, occurs in the thylakoid of the chloroplast. Okay. Now, another important thing to know is the list of adaptations of the leaf for photosynthesis. Okay, look at that, have a look at it. I've just summarized it here. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Leaves have a large surface area in order to maximize the area for photosynthesis. Secondly, the arrangement of stem, leaves and branches is such that maximum light would fall on them so that photosynthesis can be maximized. Okay, so that's A and B. And C is about the network of veins. Network of veins for rapid transport of substances to and fro. Okay, network of veins which helps in transport of substances. That's also important in photosynthesis. And then distribution of stomata for effective and rapid exchange of gases. Yes, very, very important. Nature is amazingly taking care of all these things, right? And then presence of chloroplast in the upper layers of leaves. Wow, another beautiful adaptation. And finally, thin leaves to reduce the distance between cells for faster transport of materials. That summarizes the 6 major adaptations of any typical leaf for photosynthesis. Okay, and finally the carbon cycle. Okay, carbon cycle is basically a series of reactions in which the atmospheric carbon dioxide which is found in the atmosphere, gets used by organisms and is returned to the atmosphere. This cycle is basically summarizing how this occurs, how this kind of cycling occurs between the atmosphere and the different organisms living on the planet Earth. Right, you can see that atmosphere in the carbon dioxide gets used up for photosynthesis. It gets, and then after that, it enters the consumers, and finally decomposition can release it back, and then respiration releases it back. Combustion, in a lot of ways, also releases carbon and products of carbon back into the atmosphere. Okay, so this is also important. I've not seen too many papers asking questions based on the carbon cycle, but then this is also part of your syllabus, which is why I put it in the summary. And so that brings us to the end of all the concepts in the chapter photosynthesis, children. But then apart from this, we also have a set of experiments. All the experiments in photosynthesis are important. So do remember to understand what each experiment is trying to demonstrate, children, the aim of each, and then what is used, what is the purpose of each material used in an experiment, and so on, because in section B, questions based on photosynthesis are 95% of the time based on experiments. So it could also have sub-questions related to concepts that we have discussed so far, but then base or the diagram based questions are usually the experiment ones. Okay, so do check out your syllabus and look at whatever experiment you need to learn, and do have a glance through of them also to ensure that you do not miss out on anything. Okay, children. And children, here it is. I've been telling you, those of you who do not know about this, we completely understand that you need some stress-free breaks in between your tight revision schedules, right? So this is one simple activity that we have come up with. So this is a way by which you can take a very, very short break. It won't take you much time. All that you have to do is download the Vedantu's jingle, the ad, the song that plays in the ad, right? Just download the Vedantu tune, record your version of the song. You just need to sing it and record it. And you just need to fill and upload the video in the form, the link of which is given in the description box below. So what happens next? You stand a good chance to win amazing goodies worth 25,000. So do remember to participate right now without wasting any time. This is something very simple that all of you can do. Okay. And as you know, these are our 2019 ICSE toppers, proudly presenting them. I would really, really love to see your names on the slide next year. So we are here to help you, children, here on the Vedantu 9 and 10 channel. All 4 of us, Abhishek sir, Anubha ma'am, myself and Gopal sir, have been doing sessions on the fast track series. Bio, of course, we have covered every chapter well in detail. But for the other subjects, we have had fast track sessions. So do remember to attend all the sessions. And if you haven't watched them, do find it from the playlist. This will certainly boost your confidence in appearing for your final ICSE board exams. Trust me, children, because you will not find many ICSE videos out there on most reliable sources, because it's more of CBSE content that's commonly available. But then here we have made it a point to make it easier for ICSE children also. And yes, we understand the importance of micro courses. So again, we are back with the offer on micro courses, all of them available at flat 1 rupee. You have 2000 plus topic wise courses to choose from, and this is absolutely the right time to pick the courses of your choice, because you are certainly going through your syllabus, trying to go through every chapter, every concept in your chapters, in all your subjects. There would certainly be topics which you think you need extra help with, right? So do check out our micro course section, again the link of which is provided in the description box below. And remember to buy these pocket friendly courses of your choice. Okay, and now it's time for a quiz. Let's see how much of photosynthesis we have understood. How does carbon become part of a tiger? Okay, the tiger eats grass during starvation, or the tiger feeds on decayed organic matter of dead organisms, or the carbon reaches through the food chain, or do you think carbon never becomes part of the tiger? Which of these can be the answer? And yes, you are absolutely right. Option C, carbon reaches through the food chain. The producers take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, they fix carbon dioxide, they prepare, they store it in the form of glucose, and then consumers feed on them, primary consumers feed on them. So it gets incorporated in their bodies, and secondary consumers feed on the primary consumers, which means it's getting incorporated in their body's organic matter as well, and so on. Okay, next question. Chlorophyll is present in the dash of chloroplast. Grana, stroma, thylakoid, cristae. Okay, chlorophyll. Where do you find chlorophyll in the chloroplast? Okay, and your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is thylakoids, those coin-like structures in the chloroplast. The next one, the part of the chloroplast where the light reaction of photosynthesis takes place. Very, very important. Yes. Now, because it's given to you as a multiple choice, it may be a little easier, but it needn't always be so. Okay. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is grana, or thylakoid. If it was there as an option, definitely that would have been the answer, because grana is a stack of thylakoids, so pretty much it's happening in the grana as well. The reaction by which water molecules are broken down by means of light. Remember, I told you this is the first step in photosynthesis. What do you call it? Do you call it hydrolysis? Do you call it photolysis? Do you call it chemolysis? Or do you call it electrolysis? This is extremely simple. Definitely all of you know the answer to this. Okay? And your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is photolysis. Splitting in the presence of light. Lysis is splitting. Light is indicated by photo. Now, the first step in the process of photosynthesis is absorption of light by chlorophyll, production of ATP, release of oxygen, or fixation of carbon dioxide. Okay, first step in the process of photosynthesis, where does it begin? That's basically what I'm asking you. And your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is A, absorption of light by chlorophyll. Without absorption of light, nothing else in photosynthesis can proceed. Moving on to the next one. During photosynthesis, oxygen is released from water, carbon dioxide, air, or both A and B. Yes, very important again to know. Many children, many people, many adults also don't know this, but then there is a strict answer to this. Oxygen is released from which of these? Your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is water. Water splits up to release oxygen. All right, and now coming to the last question for the day. Calvin cycle is also known as photochemical phase, biosynthetic phase, dark reaction, or photosynthesis. Okay. It can be a little confusing, I know, so let me give you a hint here. This is a multi-select question. It has more than one option correct. So pick whatever you think are correct. Okay, and your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, B and C, for biosynthetic phase and dark reaction, are the other names of Calvin cycle. And there we go. Great job, guys. We are done preparing for the chapter photosynthesis. Once again, those of you who want a detailed explanation of all the concepts, do go back to the playlist and have a look at all the videos related to photosynthesis. Yes, children, once again presenting this happy news with you, just sharing the results, the amazing results that children of Vedantu had last year, CBSE 12th, CBSE 10th, ICSE 10th, and also KVPY scholarships and PRMO. We've had some amazing results, all the children who studied at Vedantu. So it would definitely be wonderful to see your names also in these lists that we will be preparing next year to inspire your juniors. Okay, so do keep working hard. Once again, for those of you who joined the session late, we are launching the Revise India campaign, the free board exam revision camp, which is going to be happening on Feb 20th, 21st and 22nd. Do remember to register now, children, without wasting any time. This is going to be completely free of cost. So do make use of it and complete your preparations for board exams without any fear. And for those of you who haven't been part of my ICSE biology sessions, here is the complete biology playlist. You can find every chapter in this. But of course, one more additional thing I want to add here, children, photosynthesis, as I said, all the experiments are also important. So do go through all the experiments given in your textbook. We haven't discussed the experiments as such in our sessions in photosynthesis, but then across many sessions of question answer discussions, we have discussed it pretty much somewhere or the other. Okay, but they are very important. Do not skip experiments in the chapter photosynthesis. We also have the diagram series, which is where for photosynthesis and other chapters, I've discussed a lot of diagram based questions to make it much easier for you about how to attempt questions from section B. Okay, and then of course this is the complete playlist of all subjects fast track series which are still happening. Some of them are over, some of them are still happening, so do check them out and do remember to attend them whenever they are happening in future also. And yes, we do completely understand that you need some kind of guidance and motivation to overcome stress and anxiety and all of those negative thoughts and probably confusions that possibly arise during your revision time, which is why we have a long set of videos in the Students Corner. So do check it out also if you haven't been watching them until now. Almost every frequently asked question from children's side have been answered here. We will keep coming up with more, so do check that out also. And yes, children, thank you very much for joining me today. Do remember to hit the like button before you leave the session. If you have enjoyed the session and found it useful, please do share it with all your ICSE friends, because One Shot series definitely will benefit everyone's last minute prep. And do remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, because until your exams are done, we are going to be coming up with a lot more creative work and creative content for you, so that your exams will be much easier. Okay, and do feel free to reach out to me at my email ID mentioned here. So until we meet again, happy studying. This is Ambika signing off. Bye bye.